Peace of Christ to all. This is just this video to answer some Muslims about they made a comment. As usual, Muslims always, they are unhappy people, but this is a very important video too. I want you to listen carefully for the Muslim answer and to my response. It's very, very, very important. I did talk in the last video about the word al-ba'ith, and I said al-ba'ith mean the resurrection. The Muslims who came to my page, he said no, al-ba'ith doesn't mean the resurrection. It mean the resurrector. The resurrector. By the way, as a language, he is not wrong. By a language, he is not wrong. But if the resurrector is not the same as the resurrection, this is mean your God is not a resurrection. And actually, this is what he said. But let us see what that is going to do for the God of Islam. This is Wissam. He's saying al-ba'ith mean the resurrector, not the resurrection. He is playing with the word. In Arabic, a short, a or a long, a change or the change the meaning. Biggest liar in YouTube. You know, the Muslims, when they answer with their foolishness. Do you know why? You know, for me, when I say the resurrection is the same as the resurrector, because supposedly, who is the one who can resurrect people from death except the one who have the resurrection? And who is the one who have the resurrection? Is the resurrector. Because you cannot give what you don't have. You cannot give what you cannot do even to yourself. Can you resurrect yourself if you die? If you can, it means you are a resurrector and you are a resurrection. Because you have it already. Which means you cannot lose death. You have no fear from death. Death mean nothing to you. Because you are the resurrection. Now in this story in here, when the Muslims, they say to us that Allah is the resurrector, not the resurrection. What does that mean? I will tell you what does that mean. It means he is denying that his God is God. Somebody will tell me, but you just said that the resurrector, he is the same as the resurrection, because you cannot give what you don't have. Absolutely. If you don't have it, you cannot give it. But when a Muslim, he said to me, he is the resurrector, I need to go and look in his book and see if there is more than one resurrector in his book. Actually, there is many. Jesus himself is a resurrector in the Quran. But this time I will not go to Jesus. Why? Because I want to show you how Allah himself do resurrection. Jesus, he said to a man, rise from death, he raised. Do Allah do the same? No. How Allah raise people from death? And remember now, he is just a resurrector, which means he is just the same as someone who was given authority. He is just doing a job. Like, you know what? I gave you an authority to go and to do something. So when you do it, simply I am the one is giving you the power. It's not your power. Because you don't have the authority. Which means without my authority you cannot do such a thing. So the Muslims now agree that Allah is just a resurrector, not the resurrection, which means he do not have the power, he have the authority. He is the one who do the job. He is the same as an angel when he came to Mary and he made Mary pregnant according to Muslims. So he have the authority to do that, because angels cannot do creation according to Islam, right? Suddenly the angels can create. Because if you ask Muslims how Jesus came to earth, they will say angel. He made her pregnant, which means he created Jesus. An angel became a creator in Islam. How? He put his mouth in her private part. And by the way, the Quran doesn't say it was an angel. It was, it's saying ruhuna, which means the soul of Allah. But anyway, this is a different topic. So in here, if Allah is not the resurrection, He is just the resurrector, we will go and see in the Quran who and how you can be a resurrector. And I will teach you a secret, so all of you, you can be a resurrector according to Islam. And not only that, I will show you how Allah will resurrect Muslims at the judgment day. You will hear the most funny story ever in your life. This is Surah 2, verse number 73. And this is a story about Moses. Moses, you know, he's a prophet, but at the same time he is a judge for his people. So, you know, he have to do something if there is a crime. So somebody was killed. They didn't know who's the killer. Moses decided to know who was the killer, to do justice. Do you know what he did? He ordered them to kill a cow and cut the tail and the cow, the tail of the cow and the tongue of the cow and the leg of the cow, and beat the man, the dead man, with that. And he told them, beat the man with this and he will raise from death. And he did. And the man came back to life, as you see, and he said to them, who is the one who killed him? Do you see it? And after he did, like he told them, this is my cousin who killed me, he went back to death and he died. So Moses in there is a resurrector. And you will see in here that Moses is equal to Allah. Do you know why? I will show you why. Because the chapter in here is saying that if you do, this is the way even Allah, He will raise people from death. This is the way Allah will raise people from death, which means Moses, he did beat the man with the tail of the cow to raise him from death. Allah will beat the Muslims with the tail of the cow to raise them from death, which means Allah cannot raise them by saying a word. He have to play magic. A tongue of a cow, a tail of a cow. By the way, this is why the surah, the chapter 2, the cow surah, called the cow surah. Cow, you know. We have a zoo in the Quran. Spider, elephant surah, ant surah, bee surah. Now this is the cow surah. So Moses saying to you in here that this is how Allah Himself, He will raise people from death, which means Allah, He cannot raise people from death unless He have a tail of a cow and a tongue of a cow, and He will beat you with the tail and He will beat you with the tongue. So Moses and Allah are equal in here, because both of them, they will raise people from death in the same way. As you see, this is the official government website of Saudi Arabia, chapter 2, verse number 73. He said to them, strike the body with pieces of the heifer, you know, the cow. Thus Allah brings the dead to life. So how Allah bring the dead to life? This is the translation, by the way. In Arabic it says, كَذَلِكَ يُحْيِي اللَّهُ الْمَوْتَى. Beat them like that, because this is how Allah, He raised people from death. This is mean Moses and Allah, they are equal in their way in how to raise death, which means Allah is not giving authority to Moses. Because ask yourself, do you really God? Do you think God need to beat you with tail of a cow so you will raise from death? I am sure after we publish this video, the price of a tail of a cow will go crazy. Because everybody want to stay alive. Keep a tail of a cow in your house, and when you die, tell your wife to beat you with it. And that's it. Hello? Learn medicine. The magic of Allah is a tail of a cow and the tongue of a cow. So Allah will raise you from death by this way, which means Allah is not the resurrection. Thank you, Muslims. You agreed now that your God is not God, because if your God is God, He do not need to do stupid thing to raise somebody from death. He will say to him, raise, and He will raise. He do not need to beat somebody by a tail. And I want to ask Muslims, even when Moses, he did that, from where Moses he got this story? From where he got the idea? Isn't it amazing? So in here, you know, when we see somebody saying to us that by beating somebody with the tail of a cow simply is telling us how you can raise people from death. He is telling us a method and a way to do resurrection. And if Allah do the same, and Musa is doing the same, this is proving to me that those stories cannot be true. This is a full lie about raising people from death by a tail of a cow. The real God do not need a tail of a cow. I'm glad he did not say the tail of a pig or the tail of a dog. So I hope I did answer you, Mr. Muslim. Your God, Allah, is not God according to your words, and I hope you learned something today. Jesus is Lord, Islam is false. Ameen.